Hello everyone and welcome to IST 210. I'm your instructor Fred Abley, and let's go over this week's assignment. Okay, so here we are in the lovely northeastern part of Pennsylvania. I know many of you are already in the Northeast, but we have a number of people scattered around the globe, and I just thought you might like to see a little bit of what that snow brought us. We didn't get hit too hard, only 7 inches really in my neck of the woods, as opposed to my brother-in-law in New Jersey, who got 29, and a good friend of mine in Frederick, Maryland, who got 31. So that was a lot of snow. Okay, so I'm just getting over laryngitis. Something's going around, I guess, but Thursday and Friday I was down. I couldn't speak, couldn't do any video recordings, couldn't do anything. It was really frustrating, and I'm still kind of scratchy. Today I'm going to be trekking to State College, Pennsylvania, which is University Park and the main campus. What I may try to do is share a short video or maybe some pictures for those of you who are scattered around and give you a little bit of a glimpse of what your university looks like at the main campus. Maybe later on in the semester, I'll also take you back down to my campus where I teach. So what is coming up for this week? Well, there's a number of things. All right, so I thought I would come back inside. It was getting a little bit chilly. So this is week or lesson 2. And you're going to see a couple different things happening here. And I want to make sure that everybody carefully reads what is going to be required in this particular week assignment. You do have another chapter assessment, and that's going to be getting into chapter 2, which gets into this notion of data modeling. It's not an overly complex chapter, but the concepts that it does talk about start to allude to the complexities of database development. And really what we get into now in data modeling is understanding a very important concept that a lot of times eludes the IT person, and that's the understanding of what are known as business rules. Every organization has business rules, and that's essentially how certain processes are carried forward or executed. Phone's ringing. I was hoping that it wouldn't ring while I was doing a video recording. Hold on one second. Okay, took care of the phone call. In any case, business rules are really important. So what ends up happening is once you know what the process is, and that's like the step-by-step activities that a business needs to carry out in order to get something done, it is often modeled and reflected in an IT system. As many of you are going to be learning as you move through the curriculum, you're going to get into enterprise systems. Enterprise being corporations, corporate, big scaling organizations. And there's all kinds of companies that develop software products for that level. But really what you have to understand is that you're automating a process. So if the process is faulty or the business rules are faulty, your system's going to be faulty. And history is filled with examples of all kinds of failures and massive cost overruns. I mean, billions of dollars. So this is really just a chapter that's going to introduce you slightly to what is the business rule concept, and then how do you carry it forward into a model. So make sure you read over chapter 2. At the end of chapter 2, you're going to be given another chapter assessment, and that will be on through Canvas. And then now also, what's really cool about this week, though, is what I'm going to show you here now, and that's your first lab working in the database. You're going to actually get to work in a virtual lab. So everything that you do in this class is done on a virtualized server. A virtualized server essentially is a computer, right? A server is a more powerful computer. It handles more processes. Going back to the word process again, a lot of process here. And on there is a software that allows us to carve it up and have software packages running independent of one another. It's a really, really very popular contemporary approach to managing technology environments these days. So you're going to be going in to use VLabs. That's our virtual lab. And in the instructions, please read it very carefully. We give you step-by-step instructions that tell you what to do. And how do you have to first request your account. No, don't wait till the last minute to request your account. It happens pretty quick, but you don't want to be held up, right before you're trying, if you're doing it on the day it's due, that's a stress sandwich. Let's avoid that. So you're going to be setting all up your lab, and I'm going to go through that right here, right now. All right, so here we are inside of our Canvas session, and this is the intro homepage, but I'm going to jump right now over to your next lab assignment, or your first true lab assignment, I guess. So this is in lesson 2, database modeling, and under the getting started lab, you will see that I modified, as I said, I modified this assignment slightly for those 2 people that already submitted it. No need to resubmit. I repeat, no need to resubmit. What you're going to be doing is going through this. And please make sure you begin by simply visiting this link here, where you're going to then see this window to request or create your Microsoft SQL database. Very important first step. Can't do this lab without it. Then you're going to come down through here and actually just follow this step by step. Here's the name of the database. Here's the name of the server. You're going to populate that into the pop-up window here. So, excuse me, as you log in and authenticate, you're going to then follow these instructions to open up the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, which is our client tool, which is virtualized through the browser. You will then look for the IST 210 WC database in the list, and you follow the rest of these instructions. So we start off by providing you your very first select statement. You could copy and paste that right into a new query window, and that will then be executed by clicking on the query button then, and or the execute button, I'm sorry, and then you'll see the results down on the bottom. Now, one of the things that we ask you to do is that check your output. You're going to see that there's a results to text and a results to grid. This is known as the grid output. When you click on text, you get more of a text output, and that's what you're going to be able to provide if it's requested. Now, all you're going to do is copy and paste the SQL command into your Notepad editor. So everything you create, I recommend that you save it in a Notepad file just to keep it on hand for you. You're not going to submit the file. You're going to actually copy and paste it into the text area in this particular homework assignment. You're going to continue to do this. You'll notice it says also copy the results. So you're not going to be able to copy the grid. You're going to have to copy the text output into Notepad because Notepad won't support the grid work. Please do not submit screenshots. All right, so you're going to continue to use the select statements that we give you. That's all this is a familiarization exercise. So you have just a handful of select statements just to get you familiar with the lab and working in the virtualized setting. So that's a quick lab overview. I wish you luck, and as always, if you have any questions, shoot me an email. Okay, so that was the video overview of the lab, and really, it's a really cool thing. As I said, it's a virtualized instance, which means on our servers, we have virtualization software, which allows us to partition it off to running different software packages. So instead of having like server and server and server, we can have 1 or 2 or 5 servers, and we can virtualize the instance so we can install this version of the database software. So really, you don't have to install anything. You just run it right through a browser. How cool is that, right? So it's going to just get you in there. It's just a familiarization exercise. If you've been doing database work and you're like, that was easy. Well, that should have been easy. But if you're new to databases and this feels clumsy, that's okay. That's why you're here, right? You're here to learn new stuff, and that's why education is awesome. So the other aspect of everything is teamwork. Teams need to be forming this week. I've seen 3, I think, submit their team rosters. Please keep on working at that. Make sure that you understand the MOU and the contract for the completed teams is technically due this coming weekend, judging by the calendar. I'll send a reminder out, and if the extensions are needed because teams are still slowly forming and they haven't met yet, we'll address that. But we can't push that out too far because you got to get going on this project. It's a biggie. All right, my voice is struggling again. I'm going to stop there. I want you to go out there and have an awesome week. And if you need me for anything, I reach out through the border fence. Come down, come